One of the most universally agreed upon things in Halo is that being able to play as an elite is badass. But what if I told you that through sheer power and determination, a few individuals have cracked our beloved Halo 2 and stumbled upon probably the most insane glitch in a video game to date? A glitch so powerful, it fulfills that childhood dream of being able to play as whichever character you wish. This is arbitrary unit possession. About 5 years ago, a player named Dr. Biz was recording a video showing off the Dead and Alive glitch, and he accidentally had become dead alive in a way no one had seen. After doing this, he reached out to Mr. Monopoly and Hark the Shark. After they were messing around with the glitch for a bit, they managed to get Hark to respawn as a Sentinel Enforcer. And by the end of that day, with the help of modders, they managed to respawn as all of these things. In one day, they figured all of this out. Now, I'm going to try my best to explain how it works in the technical aspect, but keep in mind, I know nothing. I am just reading a thing off of Halopedia. Whenever an object in Halo is created, a reference is created to that object in memory. It is defined in two parts using hexadecimal. The salt, which is increased every time something is spawned, and it can only go up. And the index, which lists every object that is loaded, and it can go up or down. The reason this glitch works is mostly due to how Bungie coded respawning. If you're in too small of a space, the game will not let a second player respawn. This can be seen if the waiting for teammate text doesn't appear while dead. When doing this in CE, the game lags heavily, so to fix this, Halo 2 creates an invisible player and attempts to teleport it to the other player to respawn. But if there isn't enough room, we get this state known as a pinch. However, the developers did not intend for the players to restart the level during this. So if you restart the mission during this state, the game will keep in loaded memory that a player is ready to respawn with a specific salt and index. This allows the player to die again, and if the thing that would normally have that salt and index is loaded, then the player will respawn as whichever entity that may be. It is quite literally possessing the body of whichever biped has a matching hexadecimal reference to the respawning biped that the player had in the previous reset. Basically, you offset the salt and index by dropping, shooting, or throwing grenades, in a specific amount such that the respawn biped you have matches a chosen entity in the level. It will be easier if they are closer to the start. The only limit known was that you could not possess anything that is loaded at mission start, because the salt cannot decrease. However, in 2020 it was theorized and then proven by Mr. Monopoly and Nibre that because the salt can only go to 32,767, and after that it loops, otherwise known as an integer overflow, you can shoot dual SMGs for 40 minutes to overflow back to a salt that is tied to a loaded biped, and choose that biped to play as. This will be on the test. Now that we have an idea of how this works, let's show off some possession and play as some wacky things that we weren't supposed to. I've decided to break this up into a few categories, mostly based on how much setup between each attempt there is. The first is stuff you can do with no setup. These are some easy beginner possessions, and if you're going to try to learn some, I'd recommend these ones to start. The next is ones that require minimal setup, like positioning stuff so Marines don't shoot, or having something drop a specific amount of grenades, but nothing too insane. The next category is stuff that requires a few minutes or so of setup. These usually require that you drop a number of grenades and shoot a specific number of times, with probably some evading areas of enemies with active camo so they don't shoot. The last one is the Holy Hellfart category. These are possessions that took a year or so of theory crafting and usually require an hour of setup between each attempt. These are also the most insane ones, and the fact that any of these were discovered is absolutely remarkable. But how is this possible in MCC? you need 2 players, or if you're a loser like me, you can play with yourself. Wait, Alpha Ring is a mod that allows other plugged-in controllers to be detected as players 2, 3, and so on. It isn't on the workshop, but it's super quick to install. I'll leave a link in the description to a Discord server with a new release for this mod, as well as an installation and usage guide. Anyways, let's get into our first possession, the Grunt. This takes place on outskirts. You need the bandana, and Acrophobia is recommended, because it's very easy to delay spawning with it. Stick your teammate and quickly jump into the pelican. If you go into this corner and crouch under this thing, you will get into a pinch. Once the text is gone, restart the mission. Stick your teammate again and delay the spawn by jumping and meleeing when you're about to hit the ground. Do not quick reset your melee by reloading while doing this. Once you enter this hallway, you can stop delaying and the second player will respawn as a grunt. While as a grunt, your arms will be colored to the same tier of grunt. You can't use any rifles or dual wield, but you can do some weird shenanigans, like having no weapon, and this happens. Very simple and very funny. The next one is to play as an enforcer. Once again, bandana is needed. Kill your teammate with the sword and delay the spawn. The energy sword is unique, in that while delaying a spawn you don't need to jump, as its melee is fast enough. Go into the tunnel next to where you spawn. In this corner, if you stand here, you can get a pinch. Once you restart, stick your teammate and get into the vehicle and get out. Your teammate should respawn as an enforcer. One issue with this is that the enforcer spawns in a wall, so once you respawn you need to boost and go up. Once you get out of the wall, you are now in control of the enforcer. You actually have access to all of the abilities of the enforcer. You can shoot the plasma bolts, the missiles, and the melee button lets you use the arms and grab vehicles. It's pretty fun to fly around as an enforcer, and the fact that one of the coolest ones is also super easy to perform is awesome. The last one in this category is playing as a ghost, like the vehicle. This takes place on the Great Journey and is easiest to do with Acrophobia. The first thing is to kill this guy in the Spectre and make sure he doesn't drop any grenades. Then have the first player fly to the bridge around this corner and sit up here in the rafters. The second player should die and you will enter a pinch. Once you restart, the second player should die and the first player will delay the spawn and head to this grass patch. Once the other elites start driving vehicles towards you, turn around and head back to the start area. Wait a bit, then stop delaying, and you should respawn as a goat with a brute pilot. You will be playing as the ghost, but the brute can shoot for you if you aim at your teammate. If you kill the brute, you will have full control of the ghost, and you can even pick up weapons and shoot them. And even dual wield. I managed to get this all the way to Tartarus using the cutscene trigger that sticks out of the wall here, and unfortunately it spawns in a wall. This took an hour. Pretty simple, and quite easy to get. Those aren't all the super easy ones, but if I were to list them, we would be here all day, so I'll move on to some that require a little bit of setup. The Phantom Possession is very similar to the Grunt, except you want Envy enabled for the active camo. Start by meleeing this piece of debris into the doorway, then jump through and trigger this Grunt to run. Then run back and kill your teammate using Johnson's sniper rifle. Do not shoot more than 2 bullets. Get the pinch like with the Grunt possession. When you restart, melee the debris back, scare the Grunt, and kill your teammate using Johnson's sniper rifle again, and don't shoot more than 2 bullets. Then, while meleeing to delay the spawn, run into the courtyard and keep meleeing for a bit, using active camo to hide from enemies. Then once you stop, the other player will respawn as a Phantom. You can shoot, fly, and even make it to the end of the level as a Phantom. Getting around the Hotel Zanzibar does require some finesse, but it's possible. As in, you just get the other player to run all the way into the tunnel and then it will teleport you to them. In keeping with the theme of slightly harder versions of earlier possessions, the only difference between possessing a ghost and a brute is whether the elite you kill drops 0 for the ghost or 2 grenades for the brute. Other than that, just literally follow the ghost section to possess a brute. This last one was only discovered in the last 3 months. I found this video by a person named Bigma Lols, and it shows off an AUP on Cairo Station that I haven't really seen anywhere else. It allows you to play as a dress marine. The only reason it isn't part of the easier categories is because of a trick once you reset. You want bandana and acrophobia for this. Have the first player jump here on this kiosk and stand at the edge of it right here. The other player should stick themselves by throwing a plasma nade against the wall. Then once you've pinched, reset. Here's the trick. You have to immediately fly with acrophobia into the tram here. If you miss it, just reset to the last checkpoint. The glitch won't get messed up unless the second player dies. You can also just wait for this door to close and fly into it such that you get stuck on the other side, but once you're through, fly to this ammo rack and pick up these weapons, then stay in the air. Have the second player stick themselves again, then fly through the door, as flying will delay a respawn, and wait in this area for a bit. When you land, you should respawn as a dress marine. This one is really weird. I managed to get only a left gun, and my other arm was stuck to the other player's head. It was as if they had 3 arms because it followed the reload animations. If anyone can explain this to me, please let me know. I have no clue what happened here. The last one in this category is the drone. The skulls you want are Boom, Scarab, Envy, and Bandana. Once you start, run to this pillar, turn and shoot here. You do have to be pretty quick so no one shoots. Then once you kill the Marines and your teammate, run under here and on this block. You should get a pinch here. Then restart, shoot in the same spot, but then immediately walk here, turn here, and shoot so you kill the drones up top. This will trigger another wave of drones. Hit your active camo and run here. If all goes right and the drones drop the exact same number of grenades both times, you should respawn as a drone. The drone is able to climb up walls that are super steep and has a dedicated lowering weapon button. The hunter position takes place on the Great Journey. All you need is bandana and acrophobia. Start by having the second player jump off the map 3 times, then shoot the ground 11 times. Then have the second player get in the Spectre, and the first get in the Wraith. Make sure no one shoots, throws nades, or dies. Then park the Wraith against the door like this, and get under the back wing like this. Park the Spectre on top of the Wraith. It's easier to get up by reversing, like this, and then get out. Then have the second player jump off. This should give you a pinch. Restart. Have the first player throw 2 nades here. Then fly up onto the mountain up top. Then fly all the way around here and drop to this tree. This will trigger a phantom to spawn, so you need to activate camo and hide here. Now wait here for a minute for the phantom to leave. Once it's gone, activate camo again, and go here behind this rock. When your camo regens, have the second player jump off the map, activate your camo and fly to the door. Then wait for a second and drop down. You should respawn as a hunter. Yeah! You have access to the cannon, the slow walk, and the melee, but the animation's kinda busted. You can also activate camo while as a hunter. The last one I did was to become a constructor unsacred icon. You want Boom, Bandana, and Acrophobia. The first thing is to throw 2 grenades such that it destroys 3 constructors. If any of these guys shoot, you do have to redo it. Then throw a grenade here to kill the grunt and make sure he doesn't shoot, and 2 more for each of the sentinel spawners. Then throw a plasma nade here and fly up into this corner and crash into it. Then have the second player stick themselves. Once you've pinched, restart and repeat the same steps, but do not enter the pinch. Remember to throw this plasma nade again. Then have the second player stick themselves. Once they die, the first player should jump and crouch. With Acrophobia, this is an easy way to delay the spawn. Then slowly fly all the way down both of these shafts, wait here for a bit, and then drop down, and you should respawn as a constructor. You can fly into very small spaces and use the laser. Not too much else, but you can fly around. There are definitely some more of these out there, and I was going to include more, but I have no idea how to do some of these as a full tutorial has not been released as of this video. Instead, I'll finish this video by going over some side effects of the coolest but most difficult AUPs that have been discovered. 343 Guilty Spark is possible to possess on the Great Journey during the Tartarus boss fight. The full setup video clocks in at just under 36 minutes. Once you're Guilty Spark, there isn't much to do, but you can fly around the boss arena. From what I could see, you also spawn in a completely different platform than normal when entering the boss fight. Tartarus is also possible to be possessed on the Great Journey, but this time the full setup video is almost an hour in length. This one is absolutely insane. You can use the Fist of Rucht and switch to and use other weapons. There isn't any footage of it, but according to Hark the Shark, if you jump off the map, you teleport into the lift. The Prophet of Regret was discovered to be possessed by Portal117. This name will come up again. You can fly around in the chair and you come equipped with a plasma pistol and beam rifle. Literally everything seems to be AUPable, and the only limit seems to be whether something counts as an object or not. AUPs are also not exclusive to Halo 2. It is also extremely prominent in Halo CE. So I'm going to quickly mention some of the wackiest things you can possess in Halo CE. Pretty much all of these were found by Portal117 in the past year or so. Sword Elites on multiple levels. Hunters. Echo 419. Captain Keys on multiple levels. The Spirit Dropship. The Crazy Marine. A chair. The Life Pods on Halo. The Alpha Halo Ring. Like the whole thing. You can just play as the Halo Ring. I've never seen anything like this before. Overall, Halo's AUP glitch is absolutely insane, and huge kudos to those that found and exploited the hell out of it. The glitching community is unfortunately small, but I'm glad these guys are still keeping things going. And this discovery of being able to play as literally anything in the game is probably only topped by arbitrary code execution in Ocarina of Time. I hope that more crazy things come out of this, and hopefully, I'll see you next time. I'd like to quickly announce that I now have memberships. There are only 2 tiers, which both give you access to new videos a day early starting with my next video. The second also gets your name on a new outro screen that I'll make. Don't feel obligated to become a member, although it is greatly appreciated. Also, I'd like to mention the badges are the Halo 3 ranks, which I thought was cool. Anyways, I'll see you later.